Look, this ain't entertainment. It's fucking on the slave shit. These songs just the spirituals I swam against them waves with. Ended up on shore to their amazement. I hope the example I set's not contagious. Lock us behind gates but can't tame us.
Victory to me is when you spend your time right. Victory to me is when you get your grind right. Victory to me is when...
Hello everybody, this is The Rundown, sponsored by WMHW, hosted by Zach Badger House. You here with the guys, the fellas, the group, the boys. Alright, it's your boy Al.
This is The Rundown. Thank you, Alex.
Wow.
Who else is in the building?
Boy, DJ Al on the beat. Marty Mart here, you already know.
Young Leak in the building.
Oh, bro.
This is The Rundown, brought to you by WMHW, CMU, Central Michigan University. There's been some good games of basketball overall over the course of these past few days.
Before we get started, shout out to all the graduates, all the black graduates, like my dog Zach right here.
Oh, man.
Black and hooded.
I was hoping that wasn't going to even get brought up.
Black and hooded.
I was like, ooh, I hope that
When your girl put on new makeup, that you act like you ain't know. Oh, man, you looking like, I ain't even. Boy, this ain't. Boy, you got your masters. Round of applause.
Go ahead, bro.
I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I did get my master's. So yeah, your boy looking for a job. So if you're listening to this and you're if you're hiring, feel free to definitely consider Zach Badger House. Look up ZachBadgerHouse.com for all the demo and air checks that you're probably going to be looking for in the radio industry. But
Twitter, do your thing.
Right, but question.
Oh my God.
I just got one question.
We bring it to the podcast.
What's 6 divided by 3 in parentheses 1 plus 2? What is the answer to that math question? Again, the problem is...
What did I say, 1 the first time?
6 divided by 3 in parentheses 1 plus 2.
So you gotta take care of the parentheses first. Then you gotta multiply. Division
Close parentheses.
Last. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Multiply that by the 2, that's 6. And then 6 divided by 6 is 1.
So why do you multiply the 2 and the 3 first instead of dividing the 6 and the 2 first?
Wait a minute. I might be wrong altogether here, though. Because...
Now, you right with the parentheses.
No, but I don't even know, though, because, like, with the parentheses there, like, do you got to multiply the 1 and the 2?
Divide, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying,
do you do it like you read it? You do it like the PEMDAS, right? Multiply, then divide, right?
Well, that's PEMDAS. I mean, that's.
Hey, that's the debate that's going on.
I'm sticking with 1. That's my answer.
1 final answer?
Yeah, I'm going with 1.
Final answer? What you think, Zach?
Oh, I for sure believe that it's 9.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 9, too.
Because if you just do, I don't know, 6 divided by 2, that's 3. And then 1 plus 2 is 3.
Why would you divide first?
That makes it a lot. That's my thought of thinking. That's right, but that ain't how math works.
How come it isn't?
How come it ain't?
I don't make the rules.
You do the parentheses first. You get 2 plus 1 is 3. And then when it comes to multiplication and division, it's on the same level. So you do it from left to right. Same with addition and subtraction.
Bro, it's 1. It's 1. Because you got to take care of the parentheses first. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Bro, I'm right.
Let's find out who's right.
Bro, we can
find out who's right.
First talker.
Oh, this is actual.
What is the value of this mathematical expression?
Bro, this is probably a 10-minute video.
This math problem has gone viral,
tell you right
and
now.
it has received millions of comments on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other social media sites. In this video, I'm going to present the correct answer: division, and finally addition, subtraction. If you have 2 operations of the same precedence, you want to evaluate them from left to right. The first step of the problem has no controversy. This expression contains a parenthetical expression which must be evaluated first. 1 plus 2 is inside the parentheses, so we'll evaluate 1 plus 2 to get 3. Now the question is what to do next. If you input this into Google, Wolfram Alpha, or pretty much any scientific calculator,
if it's not, I'll be so
the
mad.
thing that's going to happen next is all of these will interpret the parentheses as an implicit multiplication. So this 2 parentheses 3 will be converted into 2 times 3. Now we continue the order of operations. This expression only contains multiplication and division. These are operators of equal precedence, so we'll evaluate them from left to right. Starting on the left, we have 6 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. We then have 3 multiplied by 3, one final multiplication.
Clearly he's a dummy, man.
This is without a doubt the correct answer to this expression as written according to the modern usage of the order of operations.
Left to right, like whatever.
So why did this problem cause so much controversy?
The only thing that got me was the parentheses. So like, still in my mind, the 3 is still around parentheses.
Yeah, that's what people were saying too. Like,
so that's why I bought FOIL into it and all that.
So 3 times 3 like that. But eventually makes it 9.
I mean, I guess if you...
It's whatever. I would have got this right on my test, because I would have explained the mess out this.
The FOIL method, you'll be left with like 6 divided by 2 plus 4. So then you get... Yeah, it'd be wrong.
Yeah, it'd just be 1 again, because that's what I was just like 2. It'd be 4 plus 2. Yeah. Well...
So we were able to solve that little problem.
My degree is in sports management with a minor in marketing.
He talking about math is not related. So on that note, NBA playoffs, gentlemen. Woo! 2 series are tied at 2 apiece. First things first, Toronto, they went into Philadelphia in Game 4 and they took care of business. Mr. Joel Embiid was not himself. You guys see that performance and see the box score by Mr. Joel Embiid, who sent his coach 6 o'clock in the morning, sent his coach a text message at 6 a.m. stating if he did not know he'd be able to go in the playoffs of a Game 4 playoff series. Game 4.
Go up 3-1.
Unsure if he's able to go. That's his mindset waking up in the morning of the game.
Well, I know who's going to win this series.
Who's going to win this series?
I'm going to go with Toronto.
And why are you going to? Based off...
Kawhi is never sending his coach in the playoffs a text saying, I don't know if I can go. I like that team better. I just think this will go to 7 games with Toronto being able to pull it out, just because I think Kawhi will take over that 7 game. I think these are 2 good teams, and I think they play good. I think if Embiid plays great through the rest of the series, then Philly will win it. But I just don't see him being consistent enough. There we go.
Who?
Embiid.
Well, I mean,
and then you got Kawhi, who's almost shooting 60% right now. So
almost or practically 60%. I mean,
practically.
It was 65. In Game 4.
It's like 58 total. Yeah. I mean, that's practically 60. Yeah. I mean, he balling. So, and then you got But no, I like the Raptors team though, because I like Kawhi and I like Siakam together. I just need Kyle to hit those open shots. He had a pretty good game last game too though. So
14 points. 14 points.
It's good for him.
46% from the field overall. But back to Philly, I mean, you said 7, and just with the mentality in the state, the Philadelphia 76ers, whether it's Ben Simmons, because that's the player for me that's not really getting talked about in this series in terms of who needs to step up and who needs to be better. Now, a lot of people got on Joel Embiid, but I think the engine goes as far as he's willing to even take him to begin with.
The point guard?
No, Joel Embiid. And so with Ben Simmons, the way that he's played with only, 10 points.
The point guard.
5 for 10, only 4 assists. So you mentioned the assists, but he only has 4 assists. So he's being limited on offense. He's practically being shut down. And
there is no shutting down. He don't got anything.
But wait, what has Toronto actually been able to do to be able to stop, and limiting his numbers? Because in the regular season, remember, he averaged 19 a game, 8-9 assists a game, 8 or 9 rebounds a game, flooded with a triple-double throughout the course of the season.
Well, he don't. I feel like, in the regular season, you don't see somebody 7 games in a row. You might see him at the most 2, maybe 3 games in a row, or in a very like short week or whatever. But like now that he playing, like he already played the first round. He didn't do that good in the first round, and now Toronto picked up on that. And then you going against a very good defensive team and people like Kyle Lowry, who was been known for his defense since he got into the league. Kawhi Leonard, of course, the claw. Siakam, who's active. People, and then you got Danny Green, who gonna work on defense. You got Serge, who gonna work on defense. You got Powell. You got Marcus All. This is a good team defensively, and then they can score too. But I feel like that's the problem with Ben Simmons. He met this is a good team, like a good defensive team. So of course a person without a big bag offensively is gonna struggle. Because if they shutting him down on the drive, what else he got?
I like how you said that, big bag. Got a duffel.
For real, man. Ben Simmons got one of them drawstring little sacks, man, as far as his offense goes.
Malik.
As always.
It's just one. This is the only series I ain't really, because honestly I thought it would have been over by now.
It's 4 games, and so in favor of who did you?
I didn't really have that much faith in Philly.
Okay, why not? They were able to squeeze 2 games. They won one on the road and one at home.
Yeah. Cause Embiid is never he sending his coach that stuff. He's never always 100% for a long extended amount of time, especially this late into the season. Ben Simmons, like y'all just said, ain't got no offense. Jimmy been doing his thing.
He's producing, yeah. He's produced,
thing, but he the newest addition. You feel me? He shouldn't be the one leading the team. And then I don't know. I just didn't really had too much faith in Philly. I felt like Toronto would have. I felt like Toronto would have came out and played a lot better. Kyle Lowry out here having 1 for 5 games and things like that.
So it's been tighter because of that.
It's been tighter for sure because of, I think, Kyle Lowry. He's got to show up. Everybody else showing up. Kawhi dropping 30 a game and whatnot.
Well, Siakam, he struggled in the last contest.
Yeah.
He only had 9 points. He was 2 of 10. That's only 20% from the field.
Crazy consistently.
Yeah, up until that point. Yeah, up until that point.
You ain't gonna have all good games. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But that's your job as an NBA player, is to be consistent.
Now, because I see when you look at the starting lineups and you look at the box score from the starting lineups between Toronto and Philadelphia, you notice that once you see the starting lineups box score stats, and everyone has double digits, with Ben Simmons having the fewest with 10 points, and then Joel with 11, Tobias with 16, Jimmy leading the way for Philly with 29, and then JJ Redick is able to contribute with his 19 points. You go down, you look at the bench, and there's not much productivity from the bench. Only 11 points total from the bench of the 76ers. And so when you see, Toronto, it's the same case. So they only have 12 points total from just one specific player in general, and that's Serge Ibaka. So, this series is kind of, looks like you said, it may go 7. So who do you look for to step up, from each bench down the stretch between this series, Alex, with Toronto and Philly? Who do you look for off the bench? Yeah.
Off the bench? Let me see who on the bench. Guards. You know what I'm saying? Guards make the engine go. So, you know what I'm saying? You need a good, strong, solid backup guard. So they got Fred VanVleet. You've been playing pretty good, I guess.
You think they need to start playing Jeremy Lin and maybe add more to the rotation? Just to benefit, Kyle Lowry.
Yeah. We need some more Linsanity. We could take a little more Linsanity. Why not? You know what I'm saying? He might come out and do his thing. Jeremy Lin always been a solid guard. You know what I'm saying? He might flip the ball a little bit, but not too much.
I'm gonna give it to Tobias Harris too. He been going crazy too. Double-doubles almost every night.
Okay.
He out there playing good defense and whatnot.
I forgot is Tobias, is he off the pine?
No, he's 16 points. He started. But the bench is what's being referred to right now.
Amir Johnson, is he getting some TikTok this series?
It doesn't look like he's been able to get any minutes.
For real, it's the Jonah Bolden, James Ennis, and Greg Monroe.
Don't even play
Mike.
I seen Mike Scott step in for a little while. So yeah, with this playoff basketball, baby, you know what I'm saying? 7-man rotation, 8-man rotation.
I ain't looking to go deep. I need the people I know can shoot, defend, all that.
You don't make the cut.
Yeah, y'all think they'll throw in like Jonathan Simmons or Simons or something like that though? He a great defender. Somebody they just got
Now,
for the guard position.
you see, it's funny you mentioned that because if you kind of pay attention to maybe there's a strategy within the way the rotation's being set up with the 76ers and with the guard play, you know what I'm saying, with Toronto, with them playing extended minutes with Kyle Lowry. Now, remember I always mention how Kyle Lowry is probably the shortest player on the floor majority of the time in this series. And so do you guys think that Toronto's not Toronto, but the Philadelphia 76ers, they're not playing their shorter guard, so it won't necessarily be beneficial for Toronto, and basically the 76ers are making sure they keep that tall rotation?
I can see that, yeah. I agree with that theory. Because, I mean, it make more sense for Philly, you know. It's like, because they're a taller team anyways, I mean, with the exception of, like, guys like T.J. McConnell and stuff like that. I mean, really
playing,
him,
right.
like, yeah, he's not playing. Because, I mean, it would make it easy on Kyle, you know. If he can see at least, you know, a little bit over you or y'all eye level, then it makes it an easier matchup for him.
Exactly, because if you got a player like T.J. McConnell or maybe even Jonathan Simmons too as well, you know, you got a pick and roll situation where at first you may have had, let's say, Ben Simmons checking Kyle Lowry at first, but then T.J. McConnell's off and he's in the corner somewhere, and that man's gonna bring that man to set that screen, and now you get the switch that you're perhaps looking for with T.J. McConnell and Kyle Lowry, and that sets up a better advantage for Kyle Lowry being able to shoot, you know, over the top of him. Well, maybe not even over the top, but just necessarily having someone he can shoot and not have someone who's like 6'5" or 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" contesting, you know, his jump shot. So, I think that's something that may have played a role with the rotation strategy. But even then, I think it's time to maybe even go a little deeper and try to find
definitely. I think they need to sub Ben out more, man, because it's like he can play the full game with no problems. But I mean, sometimes like offensively, he's just there. A liability, you know, like clock ticking down and they playing 4-on-5 basically.
Yeah, plus minus -16. So that's, you know, that just shows you, you know, from an offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency standpoint, that he's not being productive, you know what I'm saying, at all from an analytical standpoint. And that even if, you know what I'm saying, Joel Embiid, you know, he didn't contribute that much with only 11 points, you know, 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
But at least he got that.
You know, his plus minus was still, you know, a 17. So it's still positive despite, you know what I'm saying, them losing.
And then for Ben Simmons to be the player he is, like, I just don't see why he not going to the free throw line more. You know, like the attack. You know, like that's another thing. Like, right.
That's how his drive.
He just he not even making himself a threat at this point.
Honestly, bro, the way Ben Simmons cut, the way he agile, the way he can get to the lane, and the way he can judge jumping ability, all that strength, he kind of like a LeBron type player. He can back up, run to the rim, and get the foul call if he wants to, but he can't shoot though like that for real.
Okay, and now you say that, Malik. You think they should maybe put him in a position where he's maybe 15 feet in or maybe 10 feet in, where he doesn't necessarily have to, you know, make a play from start to finish, you know, an ISO game, but more so catch him in spaces or find him in space, like cut, flash.
Yeah, like he shouldn't be the point guard.
Middle, throw him in the post and whatnot, because he got 2 guards guarding him. Like,
everybody that's guarding him is smaller than him.
That's what I'm saying, that man's 6'10". He got a post game, but I don't know. Especially with the way they playing Embiid and everything. Every time Embiid get the ball in the paint, they jumping on him. 2 players at a time, they jumping on him. And the guards doing a good job, like rotating on the perimeter and everything. So like with them, where him being bottled up, like that's a perfect chance for like Ben to flash to the free throw line or
something.
Flash to the rim or something like that.
Yeah, he's got to move more. It would be even nice for him to like go to the wing and throw it to like Embiid at the top of the key and then get a back screen to the, you know, some type of movement where he going towards the rim. He can't be away from the rim and like, you know, like you know, he can bring the ball up, but he got to pass it off and something else got to happen. Like let Jimmy, you know, pick something up. You know, he more than capable of doing that.
Even if he not getting the ball for real, like he's just gonna be a distraction, just going through the lane, constantly moving. I like a lot of the times this season, like
just constant motion.
Yeah, a lot of times this season, like they weren't playing like one-on-one ball. But if he didn't have the ball, he wasn't doing anything. He was just standing in the corner or standing in that short corner or something like that.
He should be moving as much, if not more, than JJ Redick. Like, you know, he should be setting screens JJ Redick and, you know, turning off of him going to the rim while JJ, because then they're going to have to respect, like, either we going to have to guard a three or we guarding you going to the post, you know.
Yeah, you can't get caught watching.
And so that brings me to, you know, the star of this series, you know, the superstar of this series. I mean, he's really just been a superstar throughout this entire playoffs. You know, that's Kawhi Leonard.
Everywhere, man. He be everywhere.
Why do you describe him as everywhere, man?
Bro, like stars is stars. Like, you know, like we be so used to seeing like people like James Harden and all that, like who just, you know, like they might, you know, a couple plays they gonna take on, but like they be taking a lot of plays off. This man Kawhi will guard you, let you shoot, like not let you shoot the ball. You would shoot the ball. He done jumped in and got the rebound because you done missed. Then threw it out. Then when he done threw it out, then ran all the way down and then get the basket. Like, bro, chill out.
I mean, that's how he got his name though. I mean, he came into the league. He wasn't nobody. He got the hustling, playing defense, all that stuff. That's how he got his PT. And then he started working on his game. He's got better and better each year.
That's crazy, man. Like, it's just like the work ethic. His work ethic is amazing. You know, like I think we was watching the game. We was watching the game the other day, and it was like he was all over the floor. You know, like he right amazing, man.
Hard.
It's nice to see somebody like that.
I think you guys mentioned everything, but you know what I'm saying, his shooting factor and the fact that he's been
60%
so efficient throughout these playoffs, you know.
And it's through all contact and everything.
Like contested shots, going to the free throw line, he's shooting well from the free throw line. He's playing defense, hitting the boards, he's hitting the glass, 14 rebounds in his last contest, nearly 40 points. You know what I'm saying, 13 of 20 from the field, 5 of 7 from downtown. Just an overall, stellar performance. 5 assists, just overall, the solid performance. Now, that's a lot to, you know, have on you night in and night out. Outside of Kyle Lowry, who do you in Siakam, and you know who else do you look for to step up? Because in that last game, for me, who I looked at who stepped up was Marc Gasol. Because in the previous 2 games, Marc Gasol probably combined for maybe 6 points, maybe.
I say Danny Green gotta knock down the jumper.
Okay.
Gotta shoot that 3.
Now, what can they do to actually make sure they can find, you know, touches for him? Because the last contest, they was only able to find him, you know, 3 times. He only got off three attempts.
He not a get my own bucket type of player. You feel me?
Exactly.
He more coming off the screens, running the baseline, getting the corner shots, and he's got to get him in his groove. Because I mean, once he hitting contested shots, he hitting dribble pull-ups and things like that. He just gotta have the confidence that he had back when he was with the Spurs, and just start knocking down shots. And then now start freeing up like Kyle Lowry through the middle and Marc Gasol at the short corner and stuff like that. You feel me?
Yeah, no, he just gotta keep moving. He like JJ Redick of the Raptors team. Like, he just gotta continue to, you know, they gotta set screens for him. He gotta run around. You know, he gotta go in, and he also gotta go in and get a layup a couple times. You know, to respect that. You know, so they just not playing right up on him. But it's funny, like, as we look at the stats for this team, it's like the same thing that Philly doing. Like, you know, aside from Kyle Lowry, they not really going to like anybody who's really short. You know, like Fred VanVleet got 7 minutes, but you know, it's Serge and they not even going deep like that. You know, it's like more like Kyle need a rest real quick, or Kawhi need a rest real quick, come in real quick. You know, that's really it. You know, outside of outside of Ibaka, you know, it's really nobody. And I like to see them use VanVleet and Powell more, because Powell can shoot, can score the ball. Period, man. Yeah. He nice off the bench. I mean,
think
but,
so too.
You know, I guess it's not in their game plan for right now. That's just my observation.
Yeah, I definitely think they need to play Norman Powell more, because I believe he can definitely catch and shoot the basketball. And they're going back to Toronto, so I think that'll be beneficial for the Raptors to be able to basically extend the bench, because they'll be at home. You know, the bench
more comfortable.
Yeah, you know, the bench plays better at home, so I think that'll be better for the depth decision.
Yeah, no,
for the Raptors.
I think that's everybody. You know, when you go home, you able to play a little bit more freely, because you know, like I think that's the problem with a lot of bench players. They just not comfortable. You know, but being at home, they always gonna find that comfort.
Now we're talking about bench play. Bench play. You gotta mention the Denver Nuggets. And you got to talk about the not the Toronto Raptors, but the Portland Trail Blazers. You got to talk about that series.
Polar opposites from the first two teams.
As it's tied 2-2. And like you said, Jamar, complete opposite. Basically just flip the script in terms of the amount of minutes that rotation-wise that each coach is willing to have out there. Now, obviously Denver, you've seen it all season long, even into the playoffs, the amount of minutes he's willing to play, individuals on the bench. He has a 9-man rotation, so he's able to.
I think the thing that the Denver coach does that I love about him is that if a player is hot, the same thing with Portland too. Steph Curry's hot, he's not coming out. And then with Denver, if it's Will Barton hitting, if it's Malik Beasley, if it's Monte Morris out there playing good with everybody, he gonna keep that going. And these two teams is not afraid to get out here and be like, I'm gonna let these 4 new guys come in and give my starters some rest. And that it comes to help them. I mean, obviously, like when they playing these 4 overtime games, those little 2-minute breaks or whatever help. And that's what I like about Denver and Portland. That's what I like about seeing these two teams play, because it's not just the starting 5. It's the next 6. It's the next 4 off the bench. It's just a good game to see because everybody's playing well.
Now, Malik, in this series, we've seen 4 overtime. So basically, nearly like another game. Not necessarily, but another half, basically. A whole another half of basketball. So 3 halves of basketball. Is what we basically saw out of one of these games in this series. And so moving forward, as the Denver Nuggets and the Portland Trail Blazers are tied at 2 games apiece, who's going to be able to pull this game out? Just based off from a depth perspective, and then also basically, with the log of minutes being played with Jokic, will he be able to sustain his ability to perform at a high level with all those minutes logging in his first experience in the playoffs?
I think Jokic should be fine. He a workhorse. He's somebody that's he can't move too much, but he gonna do what he got to do to get where he needs to be.
Came up limping last game.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? I mean, we ain't heard nothing about it, so it could be
true.
Serious.
I hope it is.
Portland for sure gotta. Wait, what did you ask me? I'm sorry, bro.
Denver and Jokic, yeah, Denver and Jokic.
And what they gotta do to
Jokic.
come out, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just the guard play for real. Like Jamal Murray gotta hit his shots. Like Alex is saying, no fluky shots he be throwing up. He gotta hit them shots. He had 34 or.
Yeah, I mean he's performed well. Jamal Murray.
Malik Beasley and Monte Morris for sure gotta come off the bench and continue to bring that. Them and Will Barton continue to bring that energy and everything as if they're starters, because they all 3 of them are starters. They didn't play majority of in season as starters. So I mean they just gotta come in with that chip on their shoulder and play like they deserve to be there, like they is number 2 seed.
Okay. And so you see Nikola Jokic, 38 minutes, 21 points, triple-double in that last contest. Yes.
No, I'm looking. Oh yeah, I'm my bad, but
Go ahead. No, you go.
No, I was just looking at Denver bench and they had Hernan Gomez, and you don't know who that man is. Like he played for the Knicks last season,
yeah,
and he was like always grabbing like 10 or more.
I mean, but that just goes to show you like the depth.
Is that the one? It's 2 of them.
Yeah, it is 2 of them.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's the one. That's what brought back to me, but like.
No, that is the one, the former New York. That's the one. Yeah, it is. And so that just goes to show you how much depth they have. That they can't even play him. Or Isaiah Thomas. Now that was one that Twitter took. Yeah, Twitter took a hold of that one and kind of ran with that one. Like why? Yeah, like why do you believe they haven't really utilized Isaiah Thomas in this series, Alex?
Probably because you ain't gonna be able to guard nobody. And then they don't want to, make it a shootout, like trading buckets back and forth.
Exactly. So that's all it's gonna be.
That'll get real steep, not good. So, you know what I'm saying?
Dang, just pulling up in his
He play hard on defense, so it ain't like he's just gonna be getting dragged out there. But I just, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like playoff teams, they usually lock in their rotation, and then they want to keep it the same and try to get rhythm going. So
Because he was hurt. He was hurt at the beginning of the year, right?
His recovery
He
was,
just got back.
you know what I'm saying?
Just too late.
Too late. You feel me? But hopefully Isaiah, he lands on his feet somewhere soon.
And then that brings me back to the other side. You know, you got Portland. They came into Portland. They came back home, tying the series. You know, they tied the series, and then they get down. Well, they take the lead, and now it's all tied up. They take the lead in the series 2-1, but then they allow the Denver Nuggets to be able to still escape out of Portland with a W and going back home and potentially to get the third game of this series and go into the series 3-2. How can Portland be able to prevent going down in this series on the road in Game 5?
I think I'll put it in terms like this. They need other people to step up more. I'm going to name a few. Maurice Harkless only had 4 points last game. Then Enes Kanter with only 5 points. You know, he can score a little bit more than that. Then, you know, like continually good play from Rodney Hood and Steph Curry. And then Evan Turner, you know, like he's a guy that can like create stuff for their team on that second unit. But no, didn't do it. So
You got faith in Evan Turner?
to step up, yeah.
I don't have any faith in Evan
In 11
Turner.
minutes, they got faith in him for 11 minutes.
Alex looked at me and he knew that I was not gonna agree
Bro,
with
you hating.
hating. Check me out. Your man's Evan Turner out of Ohio State. Yeah, he is a bum.
He's not.
But listen,
He's not.
bum.
You got Ohio State into that.
11 minutes,
is
no
what he can.
points, nothing. 4 rebounds, cool. What's his plus minus? I bet it's negative. It was a 4.
Oh, okay. Well, negative. So
You like
better than Ben Simmons.
You like facts actually. But you know, Seth Curry, I like what he did. He was able to come out and shoot the basketball. You just need that confidence. You know, I just need the confidence out of Seth Curry. Rodney Hood, just continue to log in those minutes and shoot when you get it. Yeah, he was 3 for 4, so he was efficient when he got it. So just keep trying to find the ball, trying to make sure that you can get the good shots. You know, the corner threes, the wide open catch and shoot shots, the off the dribble mid range shots for Rodney Hood. But then there's Dame. Dame didn't play too hot in his last game. And he only shot 41%, 9 of 22. And some people would suggest that's good. However, the man above him, CJ McCollum, he was 10 of 20, 50%, 50 from 3. Meanwhile, Dame was only 2 of 7, shooting 29% from the 3-point line. And so, shot selection. I think we need better shot selection, just finding better shots. Because, you know, the shots are going to be there. It's Damian Lillard at the end of the day still, too. But just being able to find the right shot.
I mean, from what I saw last night, it kind of like, I don't know, like, CJ was on. He was on fire for a point in time. And then they just kind of like deferred back to Dame. And he went down like a couple different possessions, and then he put up some good shots and just weren't falling. But then CJ again, he got the ball and he hit that corner 3, that corner 2 that they counted. And then like I don't know, like CJ was just on the whole night, and then it seemed like towards the end of the game they tried to go towards Dame, and Dame just wasn't hitting.
He had got nothing going. You know, them 9 buckets wasn't. You know, it wasn't like it was back to back to back. You know, it was. You know, he just got it. Like you said, it's Dame. You know, like we can call him bad shots, and then next game he can take the same shots and hit them all, and we just be like, oh, he had a great game. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't hitting, but you know, he got to be more aggressive to go inside too. You know, he can't like Dame will settle for a 3 from time to time. Well, a lot of time, you know, so he can go inside and get a bucket, you know, at least get the foul. But he also struggled from the free throw line too last game, so it was just a struggle all around for him. I love him to bounce back heavy in Denver.
And then there you have it with Jamal Murray. Remember, I told you guys I'm getting into the series that for me it'll probably come down to the guard play between Gary Harris and Jamal Murray, and CJ McCollum with Damian Lillard, of course. And if you look at the series thus far, you probably put that in favor of Portland, but you've had moments where both of these guys, they may have not have all the bunches of points, you know, 29, 28 points between, you know, from both CJ and Dame. You know, you get 34 points out of Jamal and only 14, but Gary Harris's 14 points will always come at an appropriate time.
Yeah.
You know, his shots come at an appropriate time.
Like in the game yesterday, he hit that fadeaway jumper. You know, because we was talking about how the jumper is like A was saying. You know, don't a lot of people got jumpers like in the game. You know, don't nobody want to shoot that inside the three. You know, a little bit inside of it. You know, like it's a lost art. And if you got it, you that man. You know, Jamal Murray and Gary Harris both came and hit jump shots.
And so there you have it. You know, big shots are key. So, you know, maybe you not fill out the box score, you know, the way you may even want to coming into the game, but to be able to knock down key shots the way Gary Harris did, and, you know, Jamal Murray just performed absolutely well throughout the whole game, shooting 50%, shooting 40 from three, knocking all 11 of his free throws down. Where on the other side, like you guys mentioned, Dame did not knock down all his free throws. He was 8 for 11. And they lose by 1 point as opposed to 4 if he knocked down his free throws. And so that leads me into, like we said, both of these series are tied 2-2. This is the Rundown featuring who?
Marty Marr.
League Hustle.
Your boy.
The group. The boys, whatever we decide to be that day, make sure you subscribe.
Be your stepdaddy one day. You never know.
Make sure you subscribe to the Rundown Podcast on Apple Podcasts. It's streaming on Apple Music. It's streaming on
get it bootleg
Spotify.
If you can. I don't know, man, but you got to hear us.
Twitter, follow me on Instagram.
Whatever you want to do, wherever you find us, wherever we may be. Bottles and Barrels.
Support black businesses.
Support black
you can
businesses.
come sit outside the studio while we do it. I don't care.
Shop Wealthy Brand.
If you need your car worked on, I do brakes, rotors, all the...
This is the Rundown. It's going down only
is the Rundown.
It's only going down only on the Rundown